Just a quick note as I edit this, if you don't want to lose, I don't know, 9-10 minutes of your life, whatever, you can go straight to the blog post that's linked below, and that's where most of the information is. There's a little bit of information on how I did it in this video, but most of the video is the story of how I came about getting the bits and finding the information and stuff. So there you go, carry on. Hi, it's Paul, and in this video I'm an old man with a little story about resolving an issue with this, which is my 2016 Toyota RAV4 2-litre automatic. Yes, the one with the CVT gearbox. No, it hasn't melted itself. Anyway, I bought this about a year ago and it's alright, it does the job, but I had a frustration with it in that whilst it's fitted with power folding mirrors, those mirrors don't fold and unfold as you unlock and lock the car, which is something that a lot of cars do. Yes, it has a button so I can fold the mirrors before I get out, but that means I have to remember to do that, and I'm old. So before this I had a Ford Ranger, and that had exactly the same problem, and I searched online and found a module for the Ford Ranger that just plugged straight in, more or less, about half hour's work, and made it so that every time I unlocked and locked the Ranger, the mirrors folded in and out. So I set out to do the same with this, the RAV4. Searched on eBay and Amazon and all the usual sources, and whilst I could find modules with a reference to the 2016 RAV4, I couldn't find anyone with any stock of them. And what I eventually settled on was this, which is a module that is advertised as, so I'll just read it off the screen, Auto Intelligent Car Side Mirror Automatic Folding System Car Accessory UK. And it cost me £9.35 in February 2024. And I thought, well, £9.35, I'll chance it and see if I can make it work on the Toyota. So this is the explanation of how I made it work. So I bought the module, and as it shows in the photograph, it is exactly that. It's a little enclosure with a circuit board inside it. Hanging out of it, it's got a load of wiring coming off a multi-connector plug and a fuse holder. It came with 2 sheets of paper, one of which was a set of text instructions and the other of which is a diagram. And as is often the way with things like this that come from another part of the globe, the instructions were a little bit ambiguous, and I looked at them and went, okay, right, and what does that mean? So before I actually ripped the car apart, what I first did was wire it up on a prototyping board to try and see actually what it is. Here you can see I've got it wired up and I've got a couple of buttons on it, and depending on what I do with the buttons, it explains what I do with it. Anyway, waffle. I worked out exactly what it does, which if you want to go over onto my website, oldmanwith.com, there's a blog post on there. I'll link it below, and I've actually written an explanation of how it works and exactly what it does. So if that's any use to you, by all means have a look. But what I then did was said, right, okay, let's go and rip the car apart, and here's what I had to do. So on mine, again for clarity, 2016 2-litre automatic UK edition right-hand drive, I'm working in 2 different areas. One is where the mirror unfold and fold switch is, which is to the right-hand side of the steering column, and the other is in the area of the driver's footwell kick panel, which is to the right of the accelerator pedal in the driver's footwell. So I pulled off this panel, which kind of pulls towards me on clips, nothing special, just got my fingers behind it and pulled it out. Turned it round, and on the rear face, as you can see here at the top left, you've got the mirror controls. The connector I need is this white one that's plugged into the brown housing. Sorry you can't see it particularly well here, so let's look at it from a different angle. It's this connector here, and I'm working with the 3 left-hand wires, the light green, the mid green, and the sort of light blue colour. Again, all the detail is over on the blog post. So in this panel, I connected up 5 wires, the 4 for the mirror fold and unfold function, and the accessory feed. I also mounted the module to the back of the panel with the little sticky pad provided, put the panel back in place. That bit was done. The other wires are dropped down the back of that area into the area of the kick panel. So to get the kick panel off, at the rear, next to the throttle pedal, there's a sort of thumb turn nut in a recess. Unscrew that, take it off, then pull the kick panel out. It clips underneath the bottom trim down by the side of the seat, and you have to pull it out from under that. Then that's out the way and we're ready to move on. There is a huge amount of discussion online, depending on where you live, exactly what year and what model RAV4 you've got, as to where the other connections go into. On mine, again, UK version 2016, and this is all covered in the blog post, the connector is here in this kick panel, and the colouring is as I've put on the blog post. So on mine, it's this connector, and the 2 relevant wires are pins 10 and 11, which are both black in colour. They are the unlock and lock. The colours change with different models and different locations. So what I did, I plugged in my meter and checked for the signal, which is a 12-volt pulse. But what I will say is the pulse is so quick, it's barely visible on the meter. In fact, I couldn't even get it on video. I couldn't catch it. It just doesn't come out. But it is worth plugging something in if you've got a meter or a test lamp or something like that, just to try and make sure that the connections you want are the connections that you're looking at. Here's the connector disconnected. Don't test it in this position because you won't get any readings of it because it's not connected. But the wires I'm interested in are the second from left, which is pin 11, which is black, then pin 10, which is also black, and then pin 9, which is a live constant 12-volt feed. Over on the right here is a grounding or earthing point, which is where I'm connecting my ground wire. And that is pretty much it for all the connections. So I made up all the connections, put it all back together, and this is the result. So there you have it. At the risk of being incredibly repetitive and boring, all the information I've got is over on my blog post. The link is below in the description. Go and have a look at that because that's where all the detail is. But other than that, I hope this has helped. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.